Hello, welcome to this month's first Friday at Fusion Studio. I'm Rich Dione, Associate Professor of Practice in the Department of Theater and Co-Director of Fusion Studio for Entertainment and Engineering at Purdue University.
Hello, my name is Mary Pilon, and I'm an Associate Professor of Engineering Practice in the College of Engineering, the School of Engineering Education, and I'm the Co-Director of the Fusion Studio as well.
We are pleased to welcome you here for our first Friday at Fusion Studio. First Fridays at Fusion Studio are one-hour virtual workshops that provide a monthly opportunity to discuss emerging trends in technology in the entertainment industry, engage with industry experts and practitioners, and explore scholarly works. This month, we're pleased to welcome Peter Weishar, Professor of Themed Experience and Program Director of the Themed Experience MFA track at the University of Central Florida. Professor Weishar is president of the Themed Experiences and Attractions Academic Society, and he is with us today to talk about the MFA program in Themed Experience and the Themed Experiences and Attractions Academic Society. Welcome, Professor Weishar.
Thank you very much, and Rich and Mary, I really do appreciate the invitation to join you today. I will have plenty of time for questions after the presentation. I'm going to start off and talk a good deal about the MFA track at UCF, and then talk about the academic society as well. So, okay, Rich did a very quick introduction for me, and I am a professor of themed experience, and as far as I know, I think I'm the only one in the country. I made that title up for myself, and they said okay at UCF. So very, very excited to be doing that. We are the first themed experience master's degree in the country, and we just recently, about a few weeks ago actually, became accredited by the National Association of Schools of Theater, because we are a track within the theater major. I'm not going to go through all of these different things, but I'll just quickly tell you a little bit about my own background. I started many years ago doing digital art, interactive work. I was a creative director for a small game company, very interested in digital art. Started teaching at NYU at the Interactive Telecommunications graduate program, and eventually transitioned into a full-time position at NYU. Where I was the digital media professor at the NYU Film School. A position came up as Dean of Film, Digital Media, and Performing Arts, which I later renamed School of Entertainment Arts at the Savannah College of Art and Design. I was there for about 10 years, where I started the themed entertainment design master's program there. So a great passion of mine has always been the themed entertainment and themed experience. There's a lot of crossover between the work that I did creating digital environments and the guest experience in themed experience and the user experience in themed environments. From SCAD, I took a position at FSU as Dean of the School of Fine Arts, and I started the Themed Experience Institute there. And then about 3 years ago, I was recruited to come down to UCF and start an MFA, a master's program in themed experience. So it's a new challenge for me. The program is just about 2 years old. We're expanding pretty rapidly, trying to keep the numbers of students to be very manageable. But UCF is a huge institution, and probably the program will grow a good deal from where it is today. So first we get to how we define themed experience, which is a little bit different than a lot of other institutions. And we use this simple definition. It's an interaction with an environment that is designed to tell a story. So it is the conveyance of narrative through a sense of place, and through the movement through that space, and of course through the interaction with that. And I deliberately call this program Themed Experience, not Themed Entertainment, because we look at the much broader application of what we can do with themed experience. And I look at it, and my students as well, as a unique form of communication and a unique art form at that. So obviously, when we think of themed experience, we think of these theme parks. And a theme park is in many ways a quintessential and great, without it, and maybe the iconic example of a themed experience. Walt Disney was one of the greatest storytellers of the 20th century. He was brilliant. He used technology to convey and inspire and convey narrative. And he was a master at the utilization of the film techniques that he learned as a director to create compelling spaces and to create the movement of a guest through a space, just like a camera moves through a film environment. So without a doubt, this is many of my students focus on the theme parks, and of course we're in Orlando too. So that is a big part of the program. This is just some examples. When we think of theme parks, we always think of the adaptation of IP. In this case, two of the most successful film franchises, where you're looking at the Harry Potter series that Universal has created, the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, and these is a concept sketch for the Black Spire Outpost of Star Wars. And this is a lot of the kind of work that we'll be doing, and we do in the program and study, and many of the people that we have teaching in the program have worked on both of these projects. But we try to go branch out from there, and you're seeing two examples here. On the left side of my screen is the Museum of Ice Cream, which is kind of a pop-up experience, about a 45-minute guest experience there. And on the right is a very famous themed experience called the House of Eternal Return, and that is created by an artist collective called Meow Wolf. It is in Santa Fe. It is wildly successful. George R.R. Martin was one of the financial backers of this House of Eternal Return. Meow Wolf is now opening venues in Las Vegas and I think Denver, and they have plans for many more of them. And it really is a kind of an alternative space, but it is storytelling. There's the obvious application of themed experience to retail and dining. These are two highly themed restaurants here, but you can see that in some things that are not as highly themed as well, but without question, retail deals with a successful retail is a themed experience. Many successful restaurants are themed experiences as well. When I talk about the broader application, we're talking about zoos, aquariums, gardens, many different applications of theming that work extremely well. If you've ever been to, for example, the Atlanta Aquarium, really has a magnificent themed experience that engages the guest and helps tell the story of the natural environment. On the right side, I don't know if any of you guys have been there. This is in Sarasota, Florida. And this is the Katazan, which is the house, translates to the House of John, but it's the House of John and Mabel Ringling. In Sarasota, Florida is the John and Mabel Ringling Museum of Art. And in my position at FSU as the Dean of the Fine Arts, we oversaw the Ringling Museum. And I want to just talk about this a little bit. If you've ever been to the Ringling Museum, you'll see that there's the Katazan, which is shown here, which is his home. And then John Ringling built a large fine art museum. There's an education center. And then, of course, there's the Circus Museum, because he owned Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus. That's all situated in a 16-acre garden area right on the water. And many people go there, it feels disjointed to them because you have some very different things, as they're all part of the museum. We used and applied a lot of the knowledge that we gained from themed experience to tie all of these things together and to tie it into John Ringling as different aspects of his life: his home with Mabel Ringling, Mabel's garden area, his work, which was his the Circus Museum, and his passion for the arts and education. And when we tied it together, it made a much more cohesive guest experience. And a lot of that tied, as I mentioned, into retail, and the gift shop became much, much more successful when we told the story of John Ringling better and more cohesively. So here we just have a little quick description of the program at UCF. UCF MFA in Themed Experience teaches the unique creative production skills, process, and concepts utilized to design and produce themed environments such as theme parks, zoos, aquariums, themed retail, dining, museums, virtual worlds, and exhibitions. What you're looking at there is a Imagineer, and right in the center is Joel Torme, who's does what he calls character plaster or rock work for Walt Disney Imagineering, and he's teaching a rock work class. Our program in Themed Experience is not all things to all people. We generally accept visual artists into the program, and we try to also accept writers and producers. We emulate the same kind of proportions that you'd see in the in industry. So the majority of people we're bringing in are visual artists, but then we'll bring in maybe 1 to 5 writers and producers as well. And that's really the skill sets that we're looking at developing within our Themed Experience program. One of the reasons that I am at UCF, or the primary reason, is absolutely the location right in the heart of the themed entertainment industry. UCF is also one of the largest institutions in the country, and we have between 70,000 or 72,000 students, depending upon the count of virtual students and remote. But it is a massive university, and of course located in Orlando, has a fantastic hospitality program. So there are almost 5,000 students studying hospitality in the heart of Orlando, right outside of Universal Studios. The other UCF was founded to serve the aerospace industry, and they have some magnificent faculty working in VR and visualization as well. And I'll show you some of the work that some of my master's students have done in collaboration with them. So you see, of course, Universal Studios, Walt Disney World, SeaWorld, for now at least, is still there. Many of the major attractions and parks are there. For those of you who are familiar with the industry, you'll know that logo in the bottom right, which is IAAPA, International Association of Amusement Parks and Attractions. IAAPA just recently relocated their main office to Orlando, and they have a giant expo there each year, about 80,000 people. So we're very much involved with industry. The advantage of being in Orlando is we can literally take some of the best creatives from industry, and they can just come and chat with the students after work, or we can visit their studios, or of course we can treat the theme parks as labs as well. So there's a lot of strength to being right there. Right now during COVID, most of our classes are via Zoom and virtual, so we don't have the same kind of advantage, but we were able to really enjoy that before the shutdowns. Here I have a couple of slides just on the structure of the program. And as I mentioned, we are a track within theater. We see the theater as a cognate to the work that we do. Many of the most successful themed entertainment and themed experience designers have come from theater backgrounds. We do see ourselves as a separate discipline and springing from that, but there's a lot of skill sets that are that overlap. Just as in the fact that you have live theater overlaps with film a great deal with the skill sets. You know, dramatic writing will overlap with creative writing, etc. So we start off, and it says required courses 45 hours. This program is a 61 credit hour program, so it does have electives, and it has some other things that I'll show you on the next slide. We start off with a research methods class, which is pretty typical of just about every master's program is going to have a research methods. Of course, we focus our research methods on themed experience and scholarly works. Careers and themes experience really comes towards the end of your academic experience at UCF, and that's going to deal with portfolio preparation and preparation for thesis. I don't know if it's easy for you guys to see on your screens, but kind of the pinkish classes are standard theater classes: period, costumes, architecture and decor, design seminar for theater, storytelling as a theatrical art form, and theater practicum are all ostensibly standard theater classes that you'd find in many different institutions. Then you have a kind of a core of studio classes that are the differentiation that creates this as a themed experience degree. And the seminar, themed experience seminar, I'll show you some of the work from that class in a few minutes. And that provides overview and context for themed experience. We start all the way back with ancient Egyptian temples and talk about religious structures as being one of the first themed experiences. If you look at a religious structure, it is built for a specific purpose, which is to convey the narrative of that and convey the doctrine and facilitate the rituals of a religion. So it tells a story. We have visualizing themed environments, which is really a 3D class that's helping people render and create visuals and express themselves through art and create their environments that way, communicate the environments. And then you're looking at these three classes: small project studio, immersive experience studio, and collaborative project studio. The small project studio, they're going to be, well, the first class that was taught by adjunct professor Aram Eben, and he is one of the principals at EXP, which is a very large design build firm, and he runs the Orlando studio. And the small project studio, we all went out to kind of a Taco Tuesday night food truck, and everybody went to dinner there. And then the first assignment was designing a food truck and designing a themed food truck. So when we look at a small project studio, we're really talking about limiting an experience where the guest interaction might only be maybe 5 minutes to 20 minutes or so. So it could be a cart, it could be a food truck, it could be a small restaurant, it could be whatever it is that is a limited interaction. Immersive experience studio, we're talking about immersion into a single experience, a single story. And that might be something like a themed restaurant. So you're talking about a single story, a standalone place that is immersive, and your guest interaction might be from 45 minutes to maybe an hour and a half or so. Collaborative project studio is in many ways the capstone of the studio classes. And that is being taught by Patrick Brennan, who was Senior Vice President of Walt Disney Imagineering worldwide, in charge of every Imagineer outside of the Design Center in Glendale. That collaborative project studio, either the whole class or maybe they might split into two, is going to work on a very large project. And in there, we're really going to be emulating the professional environment, and students are going to take on the different roles that they would in doing a large project like that and produce a single piece or maybe two pieces for the whole class. And then right under there, you see theater practicum, which is, is a standard theater class. In the third year, you see here, you have your CAH is College of Arts and Humanities. HMG is hospitality management. So you get to choose electives either in hospitality or in the College of Arts and Humanities. And then you'll see the thesis. The concept of doing the thesis, of course, in the MFA is to create an original piece that informs and adds to the body of work in the field. So it is the opportunity for a student to actually create something that is theirs, to express their unique vision through the art form of themed experience. And then you'll see down at the bottom, we leave an ample amount of credits for internships. We're here in Orlando, we're in the heart of the industry, the internationally recognized hub. The pre-COVID, and I don't know what it's going to be like afterward, but there was just so much opportunity here, not just in the big shops like Universal and Disney, but there are literally hundreds of different smaller firms ranging from 20 up to 200 people that do excellent work right in Orlando. So there's a lot of professional internship opportunity. We want students to get out there and learn from the experts in the field. So here I mentioned the religious structures, and I want to show you just this is the very first assignment they're getting in the very first class, which is Themed Experience Seminar. So it's design a place of worship or other religious environment that tells the story of a specific religion. The environment you design must be based upon the doctrine and canon of the actual religion. You can choose a currently practiced religion or one that is no longer observed. However, the environment you design may not be based upon traditional or existing structures or iconography associated with the religion you choose. Your designed religious environment must convey the narrative, the story of the religion through form, proportion, interaction, scale, and visual aesthetic. The design of the space should facilitate interaction that enforces the traditional observation of the chosen religion. So quite simply, let's say you were going to pick Catholicism. You would do so without actually making a church in the shape of a crucifix. You wouldn't have those kind of symbols throughout, but you want to convey the core of what it is to be a Catholic. You want to convey a lot of the doctrine that's there, and you want to create a place where a priest would feel comfortable performing the different rituals that are part of that religion. So here I have a few pieces that I'll show you. As I mentioned, this is their first assignment in their first class. And here, this is a Taoist temple, and this student has chosen to make a physical model, and she has this winding path, if you can see that in the model, that leads up to a second story, and part of that is following the path and the non-direct path to the experience. And there is a little bit of a side elevation of the actual Taoist temple. And you can see that she's incorporated a lot of natural forms and incorporated and made it so that it is in harmony with the garden type experience in nature that is around it, which would fit with the actual religion. This is a student's kind of redesign of a traditional pagoda. She's got this space for worship, and she has the different tiers that she's represented of the pagoda through the windows in the front and the way that one would interact with it. So she's kind of done this minimalist rectangular interpretation of a Zen experience. And I wanted to show you this one as well, because this is another student that's also taken Zen Buddhism, the Buddhist, and she's again chosen these different kinds of pathways that you can choose. And she's really created a space for meditation where you wander and choose your path. And then at the end of each one of these paths is a place for meditation, where she created what you call these pergolas, where you'd sit and within nature. So they've created a space. She's created a space that facilitates the doctrine of that particular religion. Here is a Baha'i temple. Baha'i really it's a more modern religion, and they have reading rooms actually, and of course they're always situated in the garden. And she has chosen the nautilus shape here to create this reading room that again is in harmony with nature and the garden surrounding it. Zoroastrian, which is the worship of fire, and this is one of the students that had done this as the project. So again, this is a reimagining of a Zoroastrian space. I mentioned Catholicism to you guys, and if you can see my cursor over there, this is a reinterpretation of a cathedral, and it is, and of course, the circular form. And she has different kinds of symbolism. She said, like, for example, a guest exits through a bridge that ascends over the rings. It's a reminder of Jesus' ascension to heaven. So she's again incorporating the doctrine into space. And then just to kind of ending it off, one student chose Scientology, which is the L. Ron Hubbard science fiction-based religion, and she's created this kind of really cool 1950s sci-fi experience. So I just want to show you a couple of pieces of additional work that wasn't that particular assignment, but was done in first year. This was a model of a piece that was done for, I think it was, this was done for the Disney Imaginations contest. And this was a proposal for a new structure on the UCF campus. I'd mentioned to you the incredibly strong VR work that's being done at UCF, and this is a collaborative project between a few of my students and the lab run by Carolina Cruz-Niera, who was the inventor of the CAVE system, and she came to UCF last year, and this is part of an interface that the students are working on. And so this is the interior of the environment, which is it's supposed to be a space colony, and then that is the exterior. So you can see that that's a kind of a monorail that leads into that. Right over here is just a little bit of information on application to the program. They just redid the website for the themed experience. If you actually typed in themed experience at UCF, there's a really great website which takes you through the whole process. If you're interested in this program, of course, I just put my email right there. I do talk to students just about all the time about education in themed experience and directions that they can take within that. And then here's kind of my I think this is the last slide talking about the themed experience program. Most students who are applying are submitting a visual portfolio. We really do weight that portfolio very heavily, and it is the ability to communicate within that medium, to communicate those ideas is what we're really looking for. We don't look just for scenic design students. We really accept from a very broad spectrum of the arts. So we have a lot of architecture, interior design, graphic design, illustration, film, really just about almost any kind of creative endeavors we're accepting students. We do have, as I mentioned, a few screenwriters that have come in that want to write for themed experience. We actually just started a writing for themed experience class. And we do have a few people who are really excellent producers and stage managers who are working with us as well. So, but most students are submitting a really strong portfolio, and that is the perhaps the most important thing in the application to the program, because we are an MFA. Okay, I'm going to take a couple of, hopefully not a couple of minutes, but hopefully a few seconds here to bring up another screen, which is so I can talk to you more about the academic society. And let me just bring that up. Okay, hopefully everybody can see that. If you're not, well, maybe you can just pipe in and let me know, but there should be a screen showing our website there. So about 4 years ago, me and probably another 3 or 4 institutions, Carnegie Mellon, I think Cal Arts in California, and I think maybe I went in one other institution. We realized that a lot of us are teaching some pretty similar kinds of things, and we're all really working within themed experience. We saw there was a need for an academic society. Not just for the fact of sharing information, but also for faculty to publish their work, especially those who are on tenure tracks, to be able to have an outlet and to have a peer review for their work, to have a journal that they can publish in, to have a symposium where they can become, where they can meet a lot of the other academics in their field. And this was really how I met Rich and Mary, was their connection through this and their interest in it, and the work that they're doing with Fusion Studio and the work that we're doing with the Themed Experience and Attractions Academic Society has some great similarities. So you guys, this is a brand new website, and I was just telling them that you're the first group to actually see the website. So we had I have shown it to a few individuals in the past, but you're the first actual. This is the coming out party for our website. We have a general meeting on the 20th. And that's going to be about noon, and I'll talk to you guys about that if you're interested in the work that we're doing. I just do see a question here. Are we associated with the Themed Entertainment Association? I'm on the board, or the Eastern Division Board of the Themed Entertainment Association. We have we have a lot of academics who are interested in that. We have a great relationship with them. We're not really associated with them because the TEA is focused on industry. And when we were talking to them about the needs and for publication and for the needs that the academics have, they really felt that we were in some ways not directly a part of the mission of communicating and creating an industry association. So it was actually, it's better for us to be a separate place. So here's just a little bit of the, I'm not going to read this out loud here, but there's the different things we do, and this is kind of our about us. If you're on the website, which is the teaacademicsociety.org, you can click the Join Us button here, and I believe there's one over here, a way to join, so you can become a member. I mentioned to you we have a journal, and hopefully this will pop up well. Okay, so that's the JT's journal, which is the Journal of Themed Experience and Attraction Studies. That is a peer-reviewed journal, and it is we have our first issue, which came out in 2018. We are now preparing and have done a call for the second issue, so we're pretty much on a biannual publication. But there's some great articles in here as well. One of the things that is really terrific in this site, and we've worked pretty hard on this, is we have a directory of programs. And for example, there's yours, there's Purdue. And there's my program that I just talked to you about. And there's the Rosen Theme Park and Attraction Management at the Hospitality. So this is, as far as we know, is the most complete listing of programs internationally that teach in this subject matter. You see Ryerson is of course Canada. We have a few European institutions as well, and so that we do a good deal. We work pretty hard to get all of this together and to create this as a resource, mostly for connection between each other, but also for those who are thinking of pursuing an education in this area. And then we have over here, this is just the leadership and these committee members, but this is the last little piece I want to show you. And here you have a directory of every member of the academic society. I like the fact that we have 199. We don't have the 200th member yet. I don't know if we're gonna do a little celebration for that or not, but it's all a searchable directory. And Rich, there you are. So you get the information, contact information for each person who's a member of the organization. So this website's done a great deal to facilitate communication and hopefully make a more cohesive community. Our last event that we do, obviously this year we're not going to have it because we do an academic symposium. It is during IAPA, and it is 2 years in a row. IAPA has fully sponsored our symposium. It's $25, I think. You get breakfast and lunch with that. IAPA provides the space, and it provides all of the different support. And it's actually, we've had 2 symposia during IAPA over the last 2 years. We have the 3rd one scheduled this year. IAPA was canceled in person, so we're going to, in lieu of that, we're going to have a meeting this year. If you actually, we're on Eventbrite if you're interested in joining us for the general meeting. We'll be talking about obviously this website, but we'll be talking about the next journal. We're also going to do virtual presentations of some of the submissions to the symposium. So if that's on the 20th at noon Eastern Standard Time, if there's a and here's a question of if I'm still undergrad, would I be able to attend anything? Yes, without a doubt. You can definitely come to the meeting, especially there's the virtual presentations. We're finding there's a good deal of virtual presentations on industry in the industry. The presentations we're doing are academically oriented, really about academia, about research in the field. So it is probably a good deal of interest to graduate students and other academics, but definitely undergrads might get something out of it as well. I told Rich and Mary that I was going to be about 40 minutes. I'm 38 minutes, so I'm a couple minutes early. I'd be glad to talk to you guys about if there are any questions on the programs we're doing or any of the work that we're doing in academia. I'd be glad to answer that now. I'll stop sharing here, and that maybe we'll just make it a little easier.
This is a time where we're open to any questions, so feel free to put them in the chat, or you can unmute yourself and feel free to ask the question directly.
Looks like we haven't gotten quite on the website to where you can join on the website because those links aren't fully functional yet. So how would someone join? If they
there is, oh, here, let me see if I can share that again. So that's not, so yeah, as I said, you guys are the debut, so I don't want to, it might not be all working perfectly. But we also have, is that sharing right there? There's a LinkedIn page too. If that pops up, hopefully. So we have a LinkedIn group, and that's just pretty easy to ask for, to request to join the LinkedIn group. You could do it that way. By the way, there's the Zoom meeting that we're having on the 20th. So if you went to our Themed Experience and Attractions Academic Society on LinkedIn, you could join the LinkedIn that way, or we do have a Facebook group as well, or you can, I think it's there right at the bottom here. There's our email. That's a Gmail. You could click on that and just do a request through that Gmail. The Gmail might be is pretty straightforward. Okay, so yeah, when you clicked on join, it was sent to a login page about that. So maybe that might be something we need to refine more. But if you just send something to teasmail@gmail.com, that'll work for us too. With our email account is there are no fees associated with the TEAS now. we are not, we're a small group, and we looked on becoming a nonprofit, but we felt that the cost of actually becoming a nonprofit would eat up a lot of the dues that we would be collecting. So it'd all be a pretty much a wash. So no, it's all free to join. Oh, so you pointed out the join button on the navigation is that. So that's not an active link. The join us at the bottom isn't working, but the join should be working. And if not, as I said, you can join the LinkedIn group, and we can get you on the site if you want to do that as well.
Hi, I had a question. Can you hear me?
Sure. Yes, I can.
So my name is Kayla. I'm actually from the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, and I got this registration link from a student or a group of students that I met from Purdue University. Over the summer, I went to one of their symposiums, and I learned a lot from the symposium, and I'm really grateful that she shared this event with me. Because like UNLV isn't on that list of directories that you have on the website. So I was wondering, like, how do you go about finding the universities that have entertainment programs?
We did a general call to the universities when we sent out about 200, 300 emails to different places. And we did actually send to UNLV to a few of the professors and ask for responses to fill in the survey. And they didn't. On programs that we knew about, we actually went in and filled in the work and then sent it to somebody and said, is that okay, what we've done? But it's really just a matter of, we just need to get a contact information at UNLV of whoever is running the program there, and we can work with them and get it up and running. We just, like, for example, we just added, here, I can put a share screen on a second here. In the directory of programs here, for example, Sheridan College contacted us and said that they're working on a program that they haven't implemented yet. So we put this as there, and you can see over here, it's his inaugural year, and we just had the basic information, but they did contact us and asked if they could be listed, and we're always very happy to include others as well.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, the program we have right now, UNLV, it's fairly small in my opinion. Like, we only have, I think, 3 full-time faculty members, and all our other professors are shared with the other departments. So maybe that's why you weren't able to get a response. But so just to make sure, undergraduates can join this group, correct?
Yes, in the member directory, I'm still sharing there. If I go to that, you'll see that maybe there are different categories of here. This I know is a student. Mm-hmm. So here, it should list her as she's actually at Universal as well. But there are certain people that are listed as students. So we have 3 different kinds of membership. We have an associate membership for people who are in the field. We have the full membership, which is for faculty who are teaching in the subject, and then we have student memberships as well. There isn't much of a differentiation between the two. It's just a way that people can identify and understand who's doing what.
Okay, thank you. This is really great. There's actually a few more questions in the chat too.
Oh, there are. Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
What do you believe are the most critical skills for students graduating from your program? It appears the student allows a large amount of variation in your career options. Are there particular careers that you're designing the program for? Or is the intention to keep the program broad enough to support a wide variation in job options? So what do we believe are the most critical skills? Really, we're talking about the ability to communicate the ideas that you have. Sometimes we're talking to the students and they'll tell us, I have great ideas, and you say, can you show us? And I can't draw, I can't write, when we're looking at a portfolio, we're saying, is this person able to express themselves either in writing or through visual art through their portfolio? So as I mentioned, we really look at a broad range of creative pursuits that we'll accept in the portfolio. And when we're graduating students, really most of them are going to be in the design area. They'll really be designing and creating those environments, that themed environments, producing, which is of course very important, is still a creative field, or writing. So we really produce maybe mostly two kinds of students: the artist slash designer, or the producer writer. So we're not looking, if you were interested, and we do get students who say they're really interested in operations. And while we do have a few classes in operations, we feel that's really very, very important. That's not the kind of student that we're graduating, and that's not the kind of training that we're doing. Okay, I'm still sharing my screen there, I think. Yeah, here's the contact, by the way, and there's the different things. So that's all fine. This phone number is basically that's my work phone number, and you can leave a message there, but I would say the best way to contact is through email.
Hi, I just have one last quick question, just because you were going over what kind of students you were looking for. I'm currently an engineer, more of an industrial engineer. Would this type of program help me kind of look for something in that type of role? Or is this more for the architects and artists of kind of like Imagineering per se?
I have 3 engineers in my program now. One of them was structural engineering and architecture, to be quite honest with you. The drawing that I showed you of that map that was the Buddhist experience, whatever, that's an engineer. So she's an engineer who drew that. So most of these engineers do have some artistic talent as well. So we're not going to focus a good deal on the engineering aspect of it, but these are people who want to take their engineering expertise and apply it to a themed environment, apply it to storytelling. The same is true. We find there's, if you're trained as an architect, you're trained as an engineer, there's a certain way of thinking and approaching a problem. We teach a different way of approaching that problem. I tell you, you spend about 3 years learning how to tell stories through creating environments. And it sounds very simplistic, but then you think of film school, if I'd say you're going to spend 4 years learning how to tell stories through film, it can be extremely complex, but the way that we start our education is really story first, creative first, and then coming up with solutions that are expressing that, whether it be through engineering, whether it be through architecture or design. But I would say the people that we have who are engineers also have the visual art acumen as well.
So would you recommend, I know I'm still an undergraduate, would you recommend me trying to find some courses that would help build my visual arts repertoire if I were to apply for this
I would
master's?
say the people that I've seen who were successful, the engineers, that they've submitted floor plans and elevations of structures that they've designed, and that would be something that would be, now you're an industrial engineer, or you're
Yeah, I'm industrial.
And you're thinking of like ride design, is that what your focus would be?
Optimization of queue layout.
That's not so weird, actually. We have an expert in queue layout at UCF. His name is Bill Zanetti, and he teaches courses on exactly that. And God, he would just talk to you for a couple hours on it if you wanted.
See, I go to University of Illinois, so whenever I say that, no one really understands what ride layout is and optimization of ride layout.
Yeah, but that's an important part of it. And there's a certain technical aspect that you would get in your undergraduate degree that would not be duplicated in the master's program that we have, and that is primarily creative. but that's why we leave a lot of room for electives and taking courses in other parts of the university. So yes, that sounds, if you were to, but I think what you'd really need to do is figure out a way to visualize how you would approach the problem of queue layout and ride layout and whatnot. So I assume you're using 3D software and use SolidWorks, I'm guessing?
We use Inventor and Fusion, actually.
Okay. I mean, you could even just pick up SketchUp and show how you would apply that to particular environments.
Definitely. Awesome. Thank you.
Sure. Let me just take a look at chat here and see if we have anything else coming through. I think I've answered every question. I can turn it back over to Rich.
Sure. Thank you. We have about a few minutes left, so this is probably just a good time to wrap up unless there are any final questions. This is your last chance. All right. Well, thank you all for being here. Thank you for Professor Weishar for sharing your experiences and your programs with us. We're really excited. Just wanted to let you all know that you should be watching your emails and social media and our website for upcoming announcements about future First Fridays. We have some exciting things that are just not quite lined up enough for us to make an official announcement about, but we can tease that we are in some exciting conversations with engineers at Wenger J.R. Clancy, at Schuler Shook, and also at Thornton Tomasetti, and we hope to be able to announce some First Fridays with them in the next few months. In the meantime, stay tuned, and we will be with you again maybe in about 4 weeks. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.